So a teacher said to me one time at a workshop just like this. She was sitting about right there, and she was a notoriously crabby teacher. We all knew it. And this is a workshop where I was kind of sharing repertoire that the gist of it was, over the course of this hour, sharing repertoire that I felt this is repertoire worth doing. That's really great repertoire. Not because it's super hard, but because it has integrity, right? There's something there. And one of them was a Longfellow poem that had been set. It had a fair amount of dissonance. It was intended for, I was thinking for like 6th or 7th grade, 2-part treble choir, you know, middle schoolers. And I could see the look on her face, like there's no way in hell I'm doing this with my kids. But she sort of softened as the hour went along, and her hand went up, but she's sitting back there like this, kind of with a middle school girl affect, and her hand up. And I don't want to call on her, right? I don't want to call on her, but she's just staring me down. So I'm like, Connie, name change to protect her. Connie,
like mine.
And she says, okay, let me get this straight. What you're basically saying is like you decide the music's good, you think it's really great music or whatever, and then you basically just trick the kids into liking it. And I'm like, I was not as confident as I appear today. So I was kind of sweating, and I'm like, well, because the word tricking really kind of was a little offensive to me, right? So I'm like, I'm sort of stuttering, and she goes, oh, don't get me wrong. I'm totally okay with that. I just need way more of these tricks. So that's right. So that's why we're all here today, right? So now we're going to start plowing through lots of tricks, and not tricks just so you can like, oh, I can do that, because these are probably maybe pieces that you're not going to do. But every one of you is going to be faced with this year. The alternative, of course, is doing music that you could pass out and they're like, oh, Miley Cyrus, I love this piece, right? That's one way to avoid all friction points. Just do things that the kids know. And I think for a lot of people, that is the way they avoid friction points. That's the way they keep their administrators happy or their parents happy. And they are basically teaching the whole world that music education is just entertainment, right? It's just teaching kids to do things that they already know. If you really believe that there's a world out there of great music of all genres and styles and that it's your job to teach it, then you have to deal with this thing we're talking about right now. You have to figure out a way to trick them into at least giving it a fair shake. Now, the more times you trick them, this will be the 3rd time we've said it, the more times you trick them and the more friction points you have addressed, you're enlarging their brain, right? And Margaret said this yesterday, and I thought this was really smart. I'm going to steal this. She said, once you've enlarged their brain, it doesn't shrink back. Right? Once they understand that singing a Renaissance piece is a really cool experience, they don't go back to their old, I think I'm going to hate this attitude. Now suddenly their world is enlarged. And frankly, isn't that what we're doing? That's what an education is in every way, whether it's chemistry or Macbeth or nutrition science or gym. What we are doing is we are enlarging their world. And by giving them what they already know and what they tell you that they want to do, well, what is that going to be? It's a very small world, right? And our job as the teacher is to say, I know you know what you want, but I know stuff that you want that you don't even know yet that you want it. And I'm going to show you what's really cool about it.